As the new owner of the Bulls, you sent Jordan to the Lakers as soon as you took office. This made Bulls fans immediately turn against you, while Lakers fans were overjoyed. The whole league is waiting to see the new Bulls become a laughingstock in the upcoming season. However, you pay no attention to the outside noise and instead methodically strengthen your own roster. At this moment, a team scrimmage is about to take place in the Bulls training facility. You pull Kobe aside to give him some instructions. Bryant has a pretty good mid-range shot, and his three-pointer is decent too. When he moves out to the perimeter, you can try passing the ball to him. After hearing your advice, Kobe, you look at Daji with confidence, as if you've discovered a rare giant panda from China. Are you kidding me? A 2.16 meter tall center stepping outside to shoot threes? Who's going to grab the rebound then? In the mid-90s NBA, there were very few big men who dared to shoot threes from the perimeter, and almost no head coaches would design such tactics. So how could Kobe possibly foresee that? In the future small ball era, a center who can't shoot threes wouldn't be considered a good center. On the blue team, you have no idea about Ray Allen or Steve Kerr. Rasheed Wallace, the three of you will come on, with Del Curry as a substitute. Rasheed, go down low and use your strength in the post. Don't bother showing off your straight-arm mid-range jump shot. You're not as accurate as Daji. In this half-court contest, after the offense scores, they can keep possession and continue to inbound the ball until they lose it. The first team to reach 21 points wins. The game starts quickly. Daji and Rasheed walk to center court for the tip-off. Although Rasheed Wallace has better bounce and explosiveness than Daji, he's at a disadvantage in height and wingspan. The ball is tossed into the air, and Daji gently tips it. Kobe grabs the ball just ahead of Kerr, and the red team gets the first offensive possession. You're standing on the sideline with Coach Jong. Bai Yansong is also watching from the sidelines, and he specifically instructs the cameraman to make sure to film the entire scrimmage carefully. This is Daji's first intra-squad practice game since joining the Bulls, so it's very significant. On the court, Kobe brings the ball near the free throw line, facing Ray Allen on defense. Daji immediately steps up from under the basket to set a screen for Kobe. Using Daji's pick, Kobe gets around Ray Allen, but as he drives, he's met by Rasheed Wallace's help defense. After these days of systematic training, Kobe's confidence and form have improved greatly. He's not at all intimidated by the mismatch against Wallace, but your words make a trace of hesitation flash through his mind. He quickly sweeps his gaze around the court with the corner of his eye. He didn't realize it until he looked. What a surprise. After setting the high pick and roll with Kobe, instead of rolling to the basket, Daji popped out to the top of the arc at the three-point line. Kobe was stunned. This big guy from China wanted to shoot a three. At that moment, McGrady used his speed to shake off Steve Kerr and cut in from the weak side. Ray Allen, who was supposed to help, was a step too slow. Without thinking, Kobe lobbed the ball high toward the basket. He didn't quite control the pass. It was a bit too high, but McGrady still managed to use his incredible leaping ability. He soared high, caught the ball in midair, and slammed it hard into the basket. With a thunderous bang, even his teammates were stunned by McGrady's alley-oop dunk, unable to resist applauding and cheering. Sitting courtside, you also joined in the applause. It was clear that the training Kobe and McGrady had put in over the past few days was already showing obvious results. Coach Jong beside you couldn't stop praising McGrady's dunk, sincerely marveling at McGrady's explosive talent. In his opinion, McGrady and Kobe were the two players on this Bulls team with the greatest potential for improvement in the future. You smiled and complimented Coach Jong on his keen eye, while silently thinking to yourself that Wei-Ping Bryant had already become a huge Kobe fan this early on. The game continued. The red team inbounded the ball from beyond the three-point line, and this time Kobe's drive was disrupted by Ray Allen. He made a no-look between the legs pass, and the basketball seemed to have eyes of its own, flying precisely into Daji's hands at the left elbow, near the free throw line. On the other side, McGrady used his off-ball movement to delay Rasheed Wallace's cut to the outside, giving Daji a perfect opportunity for a mid-range shot as a point guard. Daji caught the ball, jumped, bent his knees, raised his arms, and snapped his wrist in one smooth motion. The basketball traced a beautiful arc through the air and swished cleanly through the net. Red team 4, blue team 0. Kobe was the first to rush over and high-five Daji. At the same time, he also gave a thumbs up. Daji, that was awesome. A giant as tall as the Big Shaq, O'Neal, actually has such a soft touch and beautiful shooting form. Kobe admitted he was amazed by Daji. After all, O'Neal, that guy, can't even hit 50% of his free throws. Bryant, your pass was great too, Daji replied. After making that shot, Daji was no longer nervous, and he and Kobe started complimenting each other with smiles. Watching this scene, the corners of your mouth lifted slightly. You knew Daji's performance was just getting started. Back on the court, Daji had retreated to the weak side, beyond the three-point line, at a 45-degree angle, and once again received a pass from Kobe. The closest defender, Steve Kerr, chose not to leave McGrady to switch on to Darji. What could you possibly do when a 2.16-meter big man is shooting from beyond the three-point line? Even if you jump, you'd barely reach his knees. Rasheed Wallace also didn't rush out of the paint. Instead, he waited under the basket to grab the rebound, shouting, "Darji, go ahead and shoot. I don't believe you can actually make a three-pointer." Earlier, someone had said Darji was more accurate than him, and Rasheed was not having it. He wanted to see just how accurate this big guy from China really was. In the next instant, the basketball launched from Darji's fingertips, soared past Rasheed Wallace's stunned eyes, and swished cleanly through the net once again. The crisp, melodious swish of the net was music to the ears, sending up a beautiful spray of netting. Both sets of Bulls players on the court gasped in astonishment, staring at Darji as if he were some kind of demon. The touch this big guy from China had was truly out of this world. Was the hoop in front of him turning into a sea of stars? After scoring, Darji grinned happily like an innocent child, raised his left hand, and kissed his palm. He never expected that. On his first trip to a foreign land, not only would he have no trouble adjusting, but he'd actually be in even better form than when playing back home. His shooting touch was on fire. Next, the red team continued their attack. Kobe knew that the purpose of organizing this intra-squad scrimmage was to evaluate Darji, so he hadn't really planned on attacking himself. Once again, he passed the ball to the red-hot Darji. Darji caught the ball at the high post, and Rasheed Wallace came out aggressively to defend him. You watched the on-court battle, and saw Darji start to back down, clearly intending to muscle his way closer to the basket against Rasheed. But it quickly became apparent that his slender frame couldn't budge the burly, dark-skinned Rasheed, who was now fully fired up. Rasheed started trash-talking directly at Darji, saying, "Darji, stop wasting your energy. I'm really worried your bones are going to fall apart. Come on, turn around and shoot over me. I'm ready to give you a spicy hot pot block." Faced with Rasheed's provocation, Darji didn't panic or respond with words. Instead, he used a highly deceptive shoulder fake and spin move, successfully throwing off Rasheed's defensive balance. He then quickly spun in the opposite direction, lifted his right leg to protect the ball, pushed off with his left leg, leaned back, and under Rasheed's astonished gaze, confidently took a long two-point shot. Rasheed tried to jump and block it, but his eyes were full of despair. How could he possibly reach the ball when a 2.16-meter tall big man is fading away like that? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! The basketball sliced through the air toward the hoop with a sharp whistle. Swish, pa, beep, beep. The sound of the basketball swishing through the net, the slap on the wrist, and the referee's whistle blended together, forming a symphony on the court. On the sidelines, Coach Zhang and Bai Yansong jumped up and cheered, and you stood and applauded with a smile. Nowitzki's one-legged fadeaway lived up to its reputation. Swish, Darji walked to the free throw line, and with the and one, completed a three-point play. The red team led the blue team 8-0 from the start, with Darji making all 3 field goals and a free throw in a row, scoring 8 straight points. Their strength stunned every player on the Bulls. The blue team then rallied. Kobe's pass to Darji was too obvious, and Ray Allen sprang forward to intercept it, then assisted Kerr in the corner, who drained a three-pointer with a swift shot, finally putting points on the board for the blue team. Next, Rasheed got the ball near the free throw line, and deliberately sought out Darji for a one-on-one. Because of his height, Darji's lateral movement wasn't fast, and his physical strength in confrontations was lacking, so he was at a disadvantage defending Rasheed one-on-one. But Rasheed's mistake was not listening to you, and failing to post up in the low block. Instead, he insisted on taking a jump shot against Darji from the high post. Clang. Although his defensive skills were lacking, Darji still managed to disrupt Rasheed's shot with his focused attitude and his height and long arms. The shot clanged off the rim, and McGrady, charging in, grabbed the rebound and quickly spun to pass the ball to Kobe on the strong side perimeter. Kobe used a pump fake to send Ray Allen, who was closing out, flying by, then drove hard to the basket along the baseline and took off for another explosive reverse dunk. Boom. The red team led 12-3. You called a timeout for the blue team and subbed in Ben Wallace and Del Curry, replacing McGrady and Steve Kerr respectively. With Ben Wallace on the court, the red team became completely unstoppable. "Darji, shoot as much as you want. I'll take care of the rebounds," Big Ben declared confidently, pounding his chest. He no longer saw Rasheed as a threat. Sure enough, on Darji's next three-point attempt, he couldn't get the rhythm right, and the ball bounced off the rim. Smack! Under the basket, Ben Wallace's muscles bulged and veins popped as he used his terrifying upper body strength to shove Rasheed aside and forcefully grab the rebound. He immediately shouted in his booming voice and tossed the ball back out to Darji beyond the three-point line. After adjusting his position, Darji took a graceful shot under the desperate gaze of Del Curry and sank it cleanly. Watching Darji hit consecutive three-pointers, Del Curry couldn't help but think to himself what a monster Darji was. He'd been a three-point shooter his whole life, but this was the first time he'd encountered such a terrifying terrifying long-range artillery like Daji. Luckily, this guy was a teammate and not an opponent. Otherwise, he'd be in real trouble. On the sidelines, you watched as Daji and Big Ben worked together seamlessly, even exchanging knowing glances, while Rashid grew more and more frustrated, venting his anger with roars. The scene gave you an inexplicable sense of amusement. You couldn't help but marvel that in the original world, the Pistons' Twin Towers dominated the NBA Finals and tamed Shaquille O'Neal. But now, the quiet, shy Daji was stepping in early as a third party. The game ended quickly, with the red team scoring 18 points in a flash. As Daji hit another one-legged three-pointer from the top of the arc, the red team clinched a decisive 21-3 win over the blue team. Daji finished with 6 of 8 shooting, 3 of 5 from deep, and a perfect 1 of 1 from the line, scoring 16 points and earning MVP honors for this scrimmage. Seeing Daji's performance exceed expectations, you noticed even Kobe, McGrady, and Big Ben were happy to play supporting roles. Meanwhile, Coach Jiang and Bai Yansong, who watched from the sidelines, were thrilled. It seemed Daji's potential was still not fully unleashed, and he is truly a remarkable player. Keeping him in China would really limit his development. Coach Jiang sighed, unable to hold back another comment. Daji's leg-kicking fadeaway shot is just incredible. Shouldn't we give this move a name? Hearing their discussion, you couldn't help but stand up and chuckle, saying, "Let's call Daji's move the Proud Rooster Stance." Proud Rooster Stance? Coach Jiang slapped his thigh in excitement. Haha, what a great name. Proud Rooster Stance. Doesn't our country's map look just like a proud rooster? Daji is representing China in the NBA, and with Qingfei's guidance and support, I believe he'll be able to stand tall here and make a name for himself. Bai Yansong's eyes lit up, and he clapped his hands, saying, "Great! For this special report accompanying Daji to America, we have our title. It'll be called the Proud Rooster of China." Before the Proud Rooster stance could make waves at home and abroad, on July 22nd, the Orlando Summer League came to a close. The Chicago Bulls, led by Duncan and young O'Neal, won all 8 games, defeating their opponents by an average margin of 29.5 points, and unsurprisingly, took home the Summer League championship. This year's #1 draft pick, Duncan, also earned the official Summer League MVP title with his unbelievable stats, an average of 38.6 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 7.2 blocks per game. While you were far away in Chicago, a familiar system notification suddenly sounded in your mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for leading the Chicago Bulls to win the Orlando Summer League Championship. Rewards: 200,000 Dynasty points, 5 System Store lottery cards, 10 All-Star Veteran Peak Revival cards. Ding! The next main storyline mission has been unlocked. The national team had a perfect 6-win record in preseason games, and you immediately received 200,000 Dynasty points from the system, which pleasantly surprised you. As system tasks progress and get harder, rewards also become more generous. With these points, you calculate you're close to buying the Divine Grade Congenital Disease Universal Cure card. You believe that before the new season starts, McGrady will be able to fully overcome congenital scoliosis, and both his strength and spirit will reach new heights. Silently, you realize you've already collected 7 or 8 System Store lottery cards. You feel a surge of anticipation, thinking that you can try your luck with the lottery cards when you have some free time in the future. As for this Chicago Bulls team, in your eyes, even though the main players are all first and second year rookies, with their rapidly improving skills in games and training, the well-structured lineup, and your own strategic guidance as head coach, winning all 6 preseason games is absolutely not a problem. After all, there are still more than 2 months until the preseason in October, and you've already bound S tier and timely used training cards on Kobe, McGrady, and Big Ben. Judging by the rate of improvement, 1 month of training equating to a year's progress, their overall abilities will reach about the level of a 4th-year player by then. You know very well that 4th-year Kobe was already the team's second star, averaging 22.6 points, 5 assists, and 6.3 rebounds per game, and was selected as an all-star starter. That was also the year the Lakers' Shaq-Kobe duo won the first of their 3 consecutive championships. As for 4th-year Ben Wallace, his average rebounds per game soared to 13.2, ranking 2nd in the league behind Mutombo that season. It was the following year, in his 5th season, that Ben Wallace officially entered his prime and won his first Defensive Player of the Year, DPOY award. As for McGrady, he's just a rookie this year. After some calculations, even if McGrady only reached a 3rd-year player's level by then, he'd still average 15.7 points and 6.4 rebounds per game, while playing for the Raptors. It's impressive that in his 4th season, after being traded to the Magic and becoming a starter, McGrady's averages jumped to 26.8 points and 7.5 rebounds per game. He was named the league's most improved player that year, with an increase of 11.2 points per game in just 1 season. This shows McGrady was underutilized on the Raptors. Otherwise, his peak would have come sooner. With the rapid improvements of Kobe, Ben Wallace, and McGrady, plus Duncan, who peaked from the start, and the Great Wall from China, this team is formidable. With tough bench players like Ray Allen, Rasheed Wallace, and Jermaine O'Neal joining the squad, plus the veteran leadership and experience of Del Curry and Steve Kerr, you're thinking that even if this is just about developing young talent, and even if many big-name stars won't participate or will only play a quarter in the preseason, you'd still have full confidence in your Bulls facing any super team head-on in a real hard-fought regular season. Just thinking about it makes you impatient for the new season to begin. By the way, what exactly is this All-Star Veteran Peak Reappearance card from the system? That's pretty generous. And you actually got 10 of them at once. What you're most curious about is still the use of this All-Star Veteran Peak Reappearance card. But just from the name, you can already guess a thing or two. Ding! Reporting to the host, the All-Star Veteran Peak Reappearance card can only be used on NBA veterans who are between 33 and 40 years old, have signed with your team, and have been selected as All-Stars. Each card allows the veteran player to shine on the NBA court and return to their peak form, but the effect only lasts for one game. After hearing the system's explanation, everything suddenly makes sense to you. At the same time, a gleam instantly flashes in your eyes. This All-Star Veteran Peak Reappearance card is really interesting, letting an NBA veteran over 33 years old return to their peak in a particular game. Just imagining that scene is exciting. Even though the effect only lasts for one game, I'm holding 10 of these cards right now, and I can always buy more from the system shop using Dynasty points later. Thinking of this, you immediately ask your personal assistant, Lynn Niger, to help you compile a list of NBA veterans who have been selected as All-Stars and are between 33 and 40 years old. Very quickly, two All-Star veterans' names catch your eye. Isaiah Thomas. Wasn't he the king of the bad boys? The Pistons who dominated the league in the late 1980s? The Smiling Assassins, who kept Michael Jordan out of the finals for years. You can't help but feel excited. If you could really sign Isaiah Thomas with a minimum contract and let him continue his rivalry with Michael Jordan on the court, or even have him help your team defeat Jordan in the finals to win the championship, that would definitely become another legendary story. You know, Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan were famously bitter rivals in the league. In 1992, Jordan even used his influence to deliberately exclude Thomas from the Dream Team, keeping him off the national squad, according to your memory. The Smiling Assassin Isaiah Thomas retired early at the age of 32, not because of injury or declining form, but because he felt his team could no longer beat Jordan's Bulls. This year, Isaiah Thomas is only 36 years old, and he is fully capable of making a comeback, earning a salary of several $100,000 a year, playing occasionally, and even having a chance to get revenge in the finals. This would definitely be a huge temptation for Isaiah Thomas. Another veteran All-Star is Doc Rivers. This does come as a bit of a surprise to you. Doc Rivers, who later led the Celtics to a championship and became infamously known as the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, is someone you know started out as a player, but you didn't expect that he had actually been selected as an All-Star. Truly, you can't judge a book by its cover. With this, the team's 15-man roster is now fully set, with a reasonable mix of veterans and new players. You believe the prospects for the new season are definitely bright. The next morning, Lynn Niger hurried to the office to report on the progress of recruiting Isaiah Thomas and Doc Rivers. According to Xing Fei, Isaiah Thomas is plagued by injuries and has no intention of making a comeback. Besides, he is now also the executive vice president of basketball operations for the Raptors. Doc Rivers, on the other hand, readily agreed and is willing to take the offer. He agreed to sign with us for a minimum salary of $150,000, but he has one condition. After playing for one season, he hopes to join our Bulls coaching staff. Hearing Lynn Niger's words, you can't help but laugh and cry at the same time. Is this pig-headed guy already planning to mess up the Bulls coaching staff? No problem. Agree to his request. After all, having one more assistant coach won't make much difference. Lynn Niger quickly handed another file to your desk. Xing Fei, this is Jeff Malone's personal profile. 36 years old, a two-time All-Star, and plays as a shooting guard. He was just released by the Miami Heat's president, Pat Riley. I heard he's already considering retirement or going overseas, so why don't we just sign him directly? Hearing the name Jeff Malone, some impressions immediately come to mind. Although Jeff Malone is much less famous than the other two Malones, his career average of 19.2 points per game is still quite impressive. Definitely worthy of being a two-time All-Star. You make the decision right away. Alright, let's go with him. Get it done as soon as possible. Then you joke with Lynn Niger. Niger, you've been working hard these days. You're really my right-hand man. Lynn Niger's pretty face instantly turned red, and she lowered her head shyly, saying, Who's your right-hand man? You're just trying to take advantage of me again. For the new season, the 15-man roster was officially finalized. With a good mix of veterans and newcomers, you finally let out a long sigh of relief. A series of system notification sounds followed. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the assembly of the new season's 15-man roster. You have received 15 S-level player injury prevention cards, which have been automatically applied to all 15 players on the team. Ding! S-level injury prevention cards can strengthen players' muscles and bones, reducing injuries by 20% during games and training, and are effective throughout their careers. On August 1st, you and League President David Stern took a private jet to the Celestial Empire's capital. There you were greeted by Coach Zhang, Bai Yansong, and others. With their strong support, you and the director of Channel 5 in the Celestial Empire officially signed a 4-year, $8 million broadcasting agreement. According to the contract, Channel 5 Sports will broadcast live coverage of all regular season and selected playoff games of your Bulls team throughout the agreement period, as well as selected marquee matchups featuring other teams like the Los Angeles Lakers and New York Knicks, the Christmas Day games, the All-Star Game, and the NBA Finals. This 4-year, $8 million contract is practically a giveaway compared to the exclusive NBA live broadcast rights that Penguin would later purchase for over $1 billion in 5 years. But David Stern was absolutely delighted. He wasn't just interested in making money from the broadcast deal. What he valued most was quickly opening up the NBA market in the Celestial Empire. The real profits would come from selling jerseys, sneakers, and organizing star player tours and other activities after building a solid fan base. At the same time, thanks to the joint proposal from Coach Zhang and David Stern, and with the efforts of the Capital Sports Bureau and the Bai team, it was finally decided that the upcoming NBA preseason games in October would be held in the Celestial Empire's capital and Magic Cities. Holding 2 games in the Celestial Empire is the first time NBA preseason games are held overseas outside the US and Canada. Before, NBA China games only began promotion after Yao Ming joined the NBA, so this is 8 years earlier. In front of Celestial Empire Channel Media, Coach Zhang spoke excitedly, saying Xingfei's acquisition of the Chicago Bulls and Daji's entry into the NBA advanced basketball's rise in the Celestial Empire by at least 10 years. The 2 NBA China games in the capital and Magic Cities in October will leave a bold, colorful mark in the history of basketball in the Celestial Empire. On August 10th, the NBA free agency market was in turmoil. The Miami Heat renewed contracts with Tim Hardaway and Alonzo Mourning to keep their core duo together, and also strengthened their roster by acquiring all-star forward Tyrone Hill. At a press conference, Heat general manager Pat Riley publicly announced that the team's goal for the new season is the Eastern Conference Championship. With Jordan gone, the East is destined to belong to the Heat. On August 15th, the Los Angeles Lakers officially announced that the team had signed 5-time All-Star power forward Shawn Kemp to a 4-year, $45 million super contract. With this, the Lakers have formed a super big 3 lineup of Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Shawn Kemp. In ESPN's real-time updated power rankings for the new season, the Los Angeles Lakers have consistently held the top spot. The teams ranked 2nd and 3rd are the Utah Jazz and the Miami Heat, respectively. Meanwhile, your Chicago Bulls are only ranked 21st out of the 29 NBA teams on this list. However, you know in your heart that this is already a significant improvement. Just a month ago, the Bulls were ranked 26th. Shawn Kemp's move to the Lakers has sparked heated discussion among millions of fans across the United States, with debates everywhere. It's simply unbelievable. With 3 MVP caliber superstars joining forces, who else in the league can possibly stop the Lakers, who already have the league's #1 shooting guard, the league's newly crowned #1 center, plus the 2nd best power forward? This trio is even scarier than the Bulls' own big 3. The Los Angeles Lakers truly are wealthy and extravagant. Even without counting Jordan's salary, the Lakers' player payroll for the new season is going to exceed $40 million, while the salary cap is only $26.9 million. How much luxury tax will they have to pay? But as long as they can win the championship, no matter how much luxury tax they pay, it's absolutely worth it. That's right, Jerry West is no James Dolan of the New York Knicks, who is rich but foolish. West spends every penny where it counts. From today on, I'm a Lakers fan. I'll definitely watch every single Lakers game this new season. As you quietly scroll through these comments, even though the Lakers have been thrust into the spotlight, you don't feel much of a stir inside. For you, the challenges of the new season are already clear. This recently rebuilt Bulls team may be unknown for now, but the future that belongs to this team is only just beginning.